In 2017, Singapore generated a total of 7.7 tons of waste. Of that total, 61% is recycled. However, upon closer look, plastic, which is commonly used for packaging, has a recycle rate of only 6%. Plastic items are non-biodegradable. This means they will only break up into smaller pieces and will come back to us through our water sources and food chain. But is there a way that this plastic waste can be reduced? We will conduct an experiment to find out.
Hello, so now we are on our challenge and we are going to explain to you the rules of it.
So each of us is going to have 2 Tupperwares. One is for our food and one is for our plastic wastage. 1 tote bag to reuse plastic bags and 1 tumbler for our takeaway drinks. And we're going to have 1 metal straw throughout the whole week.
The experiment will last for 5 days.
And any other waste collected will be taken note of as well.
So the benchmark for our guideline provided by Zero Waste SG. And there's 4 different ways. First is refuse. Second is to switch. Third is to recycle, donate. And 4th is to do things differently at home.
Before we embark on this experiment, we took 5 days to accumulate our plastic waste as a pre-measurement.
I don't have the habit of carrying the tote bags around with me all the time. So when I'm about to purchase something, plastic bags would be the most convenient.
For the younger generation, I think that we are getting more lazy. We don't really see the fact that plastic is a wastage and it's more of like convenient for us to actually have plastic everywhere and we just buy it and throw without even thinking about the consequences.
Do care a lot about the environment, like not just here in Singapore but back in my home country of the Philippines. Here, I feel like my lifestyle has limitations. Like for example, as a foreign student, I don't have access to cooking, so I'm very dependent on takeaway foods.
This afternoon when I went to buy bread, right? Instead of using plastic bag to contain my bread, I actually requested the shop assistant to put it into this container that I brought along with me.
In here, I have 2 plastic wastage. So for this plastic, I think it is recyclable because it's not contaminated with any food. As for this, it's a sweet container and I'm not quite sure if I could recycle this. So I think we should do more research about it and maybe we can tell you if it's recyclable.
You might ask yourself, Louis, what's the difference between these types of plastic? For me, I just throw them all away. That's where you're wrong. See, the thing about trash is that it falls into 2 categories. You have recyclable and non-recyclable. Now these kinds of plastics are actually very unique. You have to check for a label underneath, see if they're recyclable or non-recyclable. Styrofoam is a no-no. It's basically non-recyclable and most especially because this one's contaminated, but in general, styrofoam is no.
Next time, do take a while to ponder whether it should be in the general waste bin or the recycle bin. This is how we fare so far, but as long as there's food, it's hard to avoid plastic packaging.
So far, I haven't done any takeout, so it's actually notable. That means I don't use styrofoam or plastic containers, stuff like that.
A lot of retail shops nowadays are also supporting reduction in plastic waste. Plastic bags are discouraged and converted to either reusable tote bag or paper bag.
With regards to reusable products, they have to be used multiple times before it is worth its production footprint. So I guess it's not about what is more environmentally friendly at the end of the day, but how you use the product. I think the idea of having a metal straw and recyclable bags is also to remind us, so there is always that transition phase that we go through whereby we tend to waste a little bit more while we are getting into a new routine or habit. So I guess it's fine because in the long run, once we settle into our more eco-friendly ways, we definitely do save resources in the long run.
A few weeks ago, I ordered something online. It's this card. But I just realized something. There's lots of plastic waste just to ship this card to me. I think that it's kind of a wasteful thing to have 3 different plastic Thanks. I have my tumbler here. Tumbler for my drinks, because I can just have it in my tumbler, which this is a lifesaver.
Starbucks is a cafe that I frequent to get my drinks. Starbucks currently takes 50% off every drink when you use a tumbler for your purchases. While this reduces the number of disposable cups, we customers also get to enjoy some incentives.
Out of 10 people, actually for all those office people, the customers one is most of like 6 out of 10 they have. But for the family or students, maybe like 4 of 10.
It does help when you put the message up front. That will bring about awareness to the consumers when they come into contact with such key messages. So with regards to that, it will help in the movement of wastage reduction.
Today I'm gonna find out a challenge if this shop is able to accommodate to my request of having my tumbler to take away my drink. So let's go!
可以，没问题。
Mission accomplished. It's so nice to see local retailers actually taking initiative of what the customer wants to request for their own using of tumbler.
The easiest thing that they can do is just to put a message out there that says that they encourage bringing your own. Because there are some people who consider doing it, but they're not sure whether the shops actually allow that. So they are too embarrassed to ask as well. By putting the message out there first, it encourages such actions. And then maybe the next step will then be consider incentives and disincentives.
Out of those unwanted items that we throw away, many of them can actually be upcycled and repurposed. We attended Why Bother with Plastics workshop at the Red Box. It was co-organised by Youth Corps Singapore and Zero Waste SG. We experienced for ourselves 2 interesting DIYs to give unwanted items a new lease of life. Making of tote bags from unwanted shirt, making of body scrubs from home items. We had a great session at the workshop. Such DIY are simple yet useful.
I guess the easiest way to go for now, if we are not ready to take further steps, is to refuse things that you don't need. So it does not have to just be like plastics. It can be also paper bags. It can also be freebies that you don't actually will use, but sometimes we're tempted to take, so you don't have to clean up after that. So I would see that as a win-win.
What we had gone through during the experiment is something that we as individuals can do on a small scale. On a larger scale, we can also come together as a community to do something. Hence, we decided to participate as volunteers in this monthly Pulau Ubin cleanup activity.
Before this cleanup, I was actually really not looking forward to it. Funny, I'll be like skeptical. Like I don't want to go deep and dirty my shirt, dirty my hands to touch the stuff. I mean, doing this cleanup it was a meaningful one because despite what I felt before and despite having like drenched in sweat and the rain, I think that it's a really nice experiment and it's a really nice cleanup, and it actually makes me want to come back again.
So imagine if we don't do this cleanup regularly, if there's no organization of this voluntary cleanup regularly, things are just going to be deposited there and Now, no one's going to clean it up, and Pulau Ubin, this whole area is going to get more contaminated.
I felt like I was making an impact to my environment, but at the same time, I felt like it was bad because I realized that even if this organization does this once a month and it's purely voluntary, I realized that this might not be enough because this is just one section of Singapore. This is just Pulau Ubin. If you think about it, what we experienced, there could be more. It's not just limited to Pulau Ubin. Later on in your future, not only just you, but your future generation as well, we suggest you listen to our documentary. We suggest you recycle, reuse, and more importantly, reduce the amount of waste that you generate in your life.
So you don't have to be scared by it or think that you are not capable of doing anything towards reducing the usage of plastic. But all it takes is just that consciousness and the small actions in your daily lives.
And another tumbler.
Let's make this a recyclable corner.
One tumbler for our takeaway food. Sorry.
Let me be in the center lah.
No, if you were in the center, it won't be balanced.
What do you mean,
Girl, boy, girl. The experiment will be done for 4 days. 5 days.
Cut!
Cut!
Okay.
Cut.
Yeah.